Well, hey everybody. I think there's a front blowing in. And speaking of fronts, the video today is going to be about being vulnerable. I thought that I had sifted through every bit of fear that I had, through every bit of doubt that I had, and, well, I haven't. Today I make myself vulnerable to you, and it's a very hard thing to do. Just doing the videos has made me so vulnerable. I'm not one that's used to attention, but then there's the fear of failure that's come in. I look at it and I'm just say to myself, I'm not reaching anybody. Why am I doing this? Why am I putting myself out there? Well, it's part of my personal growth, of course. You know, we all have things that we need to work on. Just when you think that you've sifted through everything, something else pops up. And this is related to the full moon energy as well. There are things that, I have to keep letting go. Things I thought I'd taken care of. When I had my session, my QHHT session, and one of the things that kept coming back from my subconscious was she just doesn't believe in herself. I remember a time when my first husband, John, died. It was 2 days before our 20th anniversary, and I joke and everything else and say, well, he got out of something else, didn't he? But that man had a hard life. He had a lot of physical pain, a lot of mental pain. I remember 2 days before he died, hearing him pray and saying, God, if you can't take this from me, then take me. And 2 days later, he was gone. At the time, I was attending to church. It was a Pentecostal holiness church. And I do have a little bit different beliefs now, but it was preparing me. People saw gifts in me there, and I could accept it under that light. But while my husband was lying there on the floor, well, he wasn't on the floor, his body was. And I remembered the story of Jesus raising Lazarus from the dead. And more than that, I remember the verse where Jesus kept telling the people, all these things I do, you can do it too. In that very moment with my best friend, I believed that this could happen. Had no doubts. But there was the other thing involved, and that was God's will, which is, now it's free will in my thinking. But I remember in that moment, saying, God, if it's your will, please, rise him up. And he didn't. It wasn't in his path. But those moments, they don't haunt me anymore like they used to. But they put things into perspective for me. It's kind of hard because, that was my children's father and they loved him very much. It was a very hard time for all of us. But in that moment, I believed 100%. So as I'm sitting here doing this video, why is it so hard for me to believe that I am following a path that seems insurmountable, unachievable objectives in the end? And yet I'm sitting here doing this video when part of me is saying, you're wasting your time. You're putting yourself out there for nothing. The fear of failure comes in. The fear of vulnerability, of being judged. I've had so much trauma and so much hurt through this lifetime, let alone the others that I've had to deal with, that you build up a fail-safe to a fail-safe to a fail-safe. And I thought I had chipped away at all of it, but like little shards come up from time to time. And yes, I do have fear. And I say I believe in who I am, and at the core I really do, but that little bit of fear I think is holding back the 100% realization of it. This isn't an easy path for any of us. And sometimes we need help. And in that, let me say, Carla, thank you. Thank you for calling out what was already going through my mind, because it didn't hurt. It was actually a little bit of relief having someone else recognize it, and in such a loving way, because you know that that person is there to help you. All you have to do is say, I need help with this. And in this case, I didn't even have to ask. Carla told me that I inspired her. And to me, I still find these things a little bit hard to believe. But why would she lie? So yes, this is my path. I do want you guys to watch. I do want you to subscribe. I do want you to share. I do want you to like. I do want you to comment. I've had so many people that I've given the brief synopsis, what I call the 15-minute fling of my story. And it's not just my story, because there are so many characters involved that I had to have realizations about them and things that were going on in their path in order to achieve things in my path. The wind is coming from all directions here too. It's an interesting analogy here, because it comes at you from all different directions. Just when you think you figured it out, here comes a rogue wind, right? So I'm going to start telling my story. And in that, I have to be vulnerable, because I have to admit truths about myself. Things will come up that I thought I had addressed that I hadn't. And in those moments that my humanity shows, I say, forgive me. But at the same time, I say, there's nothing wrong with it. Because these are the things that we have to work through to ascend. I lost so many people. Anyone that knew me right after Eddie's accident. And this one still hits home just a little bit because I miss him. But anybody that knew me knew how hard it was for me to go on. So if I can get through that, I can go on and do this and try to help another person. So with that being said, just remember to breathe in the love, those beautiful birds, and breathe out the gratitude. And please, leave some likes, leave some comments, share, encourage me. I'll put links below, and I think I'm going to put in a song that touches me. It's by Nako Bear Medicine for the People, and someone put it to video. And it means a lot to me, like Nako does, and so many others. I love you all. I encourage you. I believe in you. And hopefully next time I'll feel a little more at ease and a little more comfortable. Love, light, peace, forgiveness, gratitude. All things coming up today. Be your authentic self. Don't apologize for it. Learn what it means. Everybody have a beautiful day.